Hello and welcome, everybody. I'm live. I'm trying different times. Some people aren't getting notifications, but hey, you know what? I'm going to show up anyways. You can watch it on the replay, and that's totally beautiful. So, hello, everyone, and welcome to the Guru Mama's Mama G Coffee Corner. My name is Mary June Tracy. I am the Guru Mama. Psychic medium, spiritual love of life coach, and an astrologer coming to you with the Cosmic Highway on the 411 on these trying to come every day as best as I can and bringing you hopefully inspiration, shining a light onto your day, uplifting you to bring you into new forms, new thoughts, new ideas, and creating community and creating inspiration and light. December 28th, we have peek into 2021. So there's still a couple spaces left. And I think there's like 3 spaces left in there. So if you want to join me for the Cosmic Highway and get a hold of me, it's $75. So, and you can peek into 2021 on what more shenanigans can the planets play upon us. I was just listening this morning to Rick Levine on Astrology Hub, and I just love it because he was explaining about the conjunction that's happening on December 21st. And it's very magical. This is with everything that's happened for us this year, this is bringing in such a beautiful, magical time. And with that, he went through a lot of the history and he went through a lot of the information about it. And it's not, one of the things as studying astrology, and the more I study, the more I understand. But Jupiter, Saturn coming together it's not something that just, it happens every 20 years. They do conjunct every 20 years. But what makes this more significant is it is happening on the solstice. It is happening in a auspicious time for us and happening in air. It did happen in air in 1980, where the Jupiter Saturn conjuncted, and then it went back into Earth. But this is a time. I think that was really a time, and even Rick was explaining that was even a time when that, with that conjunction coming in that Libra energy. And I think a lot of people, because we want to make this so about us, how human is that? We want to make it all about us, and that's the whole thing. We want to make things about us. That we want to make this such, about us. And that time when it happened in Libra in 1980 was very a kickoff of relationships. It was a kickoff time of how we relate, how we connect with one another, and what we thought were relationships are not. Like how we thought this is how a relationship should be, this is how things should be, and this is what we believed everything should be. And it changed. From the 80s, it started to really change on how we looked at relationships and how we connected with relationships, and that you didn't have to be married to somebody for 60 years, 75 years, or 30 years, or 20 years. You didn't have to stay with that person if that connection was no longer there. And that connection didn't have to be just between a man and a woman. It could be between a man and a man and a woman and a woman. And it could be between a man and a woman, and then the man is becoming transgender and they still have the relationship, or vice versa. So, the multitude of different types of relationships really expanded for us in how we connected. And setting that forward and setting that energy forward, I think this is also where, with the planetary alignments and things that are happening, that Jupiter Saturn conjunction in Aquarius at 0 degrees is a phenomenal event for us. It isn't when and he did. I mean, Rick explained. I mean, because he's got that mind to do this, but Jupiter is known as the king. It is the, he is the king of Olympus, and Saturn is known, has even more power, right? So Saturn has even more power of restrictions. Like Saturday, Saturday end a day. Saturday, Saturn, it was like, that was the end, that was we stopped doing things on that day. And it was the end of the road. The things that come in with this conjunction that's happening is a lot to do with the Star of Bethlehem. The thing is that one thing we will never have the exact date of when Jesus was born. We just won't. It was, we have timelines. We know it was in the time of Herod, and we know approximately about what time that was, around, and this alignment with a Saturn Jupiter conjunction was around 7 or 9 BC. We know that through historians and through others who have gone in the past of figuring out how to, when Jupiter and Saturn conjunct it and all of this, and being able to figure that out in a mathematical equation. I'm not a scholar, nor am I a mathematician, but we knew that in this conjunction had to do with a lineage, just like the lineage of the Dalai Lama. There's a lineage. They know at this certain time, this is what's going to happen, right? And, when they were searching for the Dalai Lama, they knew within the stars, okay, the last Dalai Lama passed away. It was time to look for the new one. And they knew that there was this child who was about 3 or 4 was living in this town. And of course, 3 men went out to go find this child. Hence our new Dalai Lama. Hence, when you go looking at the Star of David, or that of this energy, was 3 magi coming to find and discover this beautiful event. And with this beautiful event, because the Magi's were astrologers, they were Zoroastro was their religion of the time. They came from the east, which was east of anything from Jerusalem, was a Babylon or Prussia. So there was this event. They followed the stars. They knew when certain things happened, and they called them stars. Planets are, the word planet is that of a star in motion. So they knew that when these 2 stars, because Jupiter and Saturn were known as, that's what they called them, stars. They knew when they came together at this certain point that this was going to be in, because they were scholars and they studied different mysticisms and different omens that came in, that when this happened, the King of the Jews would be born. So they had an idea of this, and they went on a journey for over a year, and following that to find, we don't know exact date of that, but we do know that, because of different things that were written, that this was, in the time of Herod. It was, we know in the book of Matthew that in the days of Herod the king, and the Magi's came to Jerusalem. And we know that who the Magi were through history. We understand what that is and what they did. And you will see some of their temples. Their temples are like 3 stories or 4 stories high that had an observatory on top called Ziggurat. Horrible at the words. But this event that's coming in, and as I look at it, is huge. There's so many other astrological events happening on December 21st. But being at this time for us in the Western Hemisphere of the darkest day of the year, being at this time where this conjunction is happening and bringing in new light, it's bringing in renewal. It is bringing in a time where we are able to move towards the light and move towards something that is greater than ourselves. This energy that is coming in, and I if you want to look up that, what I was watching, it's Rick Levine and Amanda Walsh. I think Amanda Walsh. I think that's right. From Astrology Hub. It's probably on YouTube, and I'll repost that up if you want to watch it. It is fabulous. And plus, Rick is one of my teachers. I've taken courses from Rick, and he's a fabulous old astrologer. He's been doing it for over 30 plus years. Just awesome. So looking into this and the shifting that's happening. This is a shift that's happening. This is a shift into air that is happening for us. So there is this newness and renewal. It's like getting a breath of fresh air, you know, from everything that we have gone through within this year. Because this year has been, for all of us, transitional. This year has, no matter where you were on this planet, this has affected us in some way. Within this year, within everything that has happened within this year, has affected someone, somewhere, somehow on this planet, either in a large way or maybe in a small way. I think it's affected many of us in a larger way. It has gotten us to think outside the box. It's gotten us to reconnect in new ways and to think about how we can connect with one another and how much connection is important to us, and how connection with not only our family, but with our neighbors and our friends, and even with if you have your own business, or even if you're working for someone else, connecting with those on, you know, who are clients. So this energy that is coming in is bringing in, and I like to think of it as this lineage that is coming forth for us in getting us to really step forward into that spirit and that energy of what Jesus was. Because it doesn't matter if you are a Christian, a Jew, if you're a pagan, a witch, any other religion. This is coming in, and it's not to go into the dogma of it. This is not to go into religious aspects, or, you know, I don't want to downplay anybody with their religion, but this is to come into the energy of what this represents, of what this wants to come forward for us, and how we want to herald this into our year, how we want to step into this in a very beautiful, energetic way. And in doing so, allowing ourselves to open up to something new for us all. I feel, you know, with this coming in, and I know we won't be able to see it here. I've been looking for us to see that here in Calgary. It's going to be cloudy and it's going to be snowing that day. So maybe we'll get a glimpse. Maybe we'll get a glimpse of it, because it'll be very cool if we can. In order to see it from the Earth's perspective would be very, very cool, you know, wherever you are. This is, you know, because when you see planetary alignments, or when you see things, I posted a picture up a few weeks ago with when the moon was in was in Scorpio, and so was Venus, and there you had the moon, right? And the moon, you know, sitting there, and then Venus sort of was like, almost like Venus was looking up to the moon. And I posted that on my Instagram, I posted it on Facebook, and that picture just, you know, it's just like, you know, showing people that's Venus, right? You may not have known that, but that's Venus. So when you see things and you're noticing more, it is bringing into an aha moment. It's bringing into where you're able to see things in a greater alignment. And I feel like with all of the energies as we are moving into this weekend, Friday, as we are coming into this energy, this is really where I feel, and this is something, this is a quote that came from Rick. It doesn't matter. Oh, if I wrote this right, doesn't matter where you're. It doesn't matter where you dig the well. Doesn't matter where you dig the well. You get to the same water. Now, when he was saying that and talking about this conjunction, I thought, yes, 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 yes. That's a beautiful quote. I love that. It doesn't matter where you're digging. We all come to the same water. We all come to that same essence. Doesn't matter. And this energy that wants to lead us is that of this renewal of our spirit of love. Because I, for myself, I don't claim myself anymore as a Catholic or a witch or a pagan. I like to be that, and I like to call myself like a spiritualist, an astrologer, one who wants to come in and invoke the light and shine the light out. But I love to hear the story of what Jesus came to do. And that's really what this energy, when they say it's a star, bringing in the Star of Bethlehem, what does that refer to? That refers to him and his birth of this innocent child coming to this world, unbeknownst, but the innocence of this child stepping into something of greatness, stepping into where he is going to be delivering people into a new way of thinking, into a new way of being and connecting. And still, I think still today, he is, even as then, he is just as much controversial now as he was then. Herod didn't want him around. King of Jews, let's kill all the firstborn babies that are male, because he didn't want anybody to take his limelight. Hence, you mention that word Jesus to anybody in a conversation, and they freak out on you now. It's like, ooh, what are you? Blah, blah, blah. You can't believe in Jesus. Blah, blah, blah. It's like, oh, but they miss the message of it all. They want to throw their dogma, their info, and that upon it. And I even have it with me. I have people from pagan community, I have people from the witch community, I have people from different groups, Christians and Muslims and that, and they're like, whoa, what are you promoting now? You're a Christian? I'm just promoting love. And that's where when people get up, because they get all up and like, oh, but look at all what they did. I'm not going after them. I'm going with the person of what he represented and what he did and what he proclaimed, and how this star is coming into the essence of our being and the essence of where we are needing to move towards. With so many timelines coming together at once within our world, so many changes coming together at once in this world, that he is known as the shining star. He was known as that of the enlightened one. And that's what we need to grasp as we go forward, because it is in that love and in that light, there is no distinction between you or me or anyone else. That we are just here, one, and coming together as one spirit. And as we come together as one spirit, we come together and we transcend into something that's greater. And when we can come together in peace, and when we can come together with forgiveness, within our own selves, within our family, within our neighborhood. That is the vibration of change that we are needing as we are heading forward into even a deeper controversial year of 2021. And this is where this light comes in. The light comes in on the darkest day of the year. And this hasn't, like, for happening on the solstice, it hasn't happened for a couple hundred years. To have it on this date. So it is pretty remarkable. It's pretty remarkable. And as the sun goes into Capricorn and Mercury comes in, I mean, they're conjunct as well. So, you know, the Mercury's conjunct with the sun. That Gazini, you won't be able to see Mercury in the sky during that time. So this is pretty remarkable. And the energies of it is pretty remarkable. And you're probably starting to feel it because they are moving closer together. In fact, if you look into an app that I have, and I love my app, my grandson and I just have a blast with it. It's called Star Chart. And Star Chart, you know, when you hold it up, so like right in front of me is, you know, the horizon line is in front of me. And I have Uranus and I have Mars over here and then Neptune. And then we go around and then there is Jupiter and Saturn and on here, I don't know if I can bring it closer without it moving. As I bring it closer, I should take a picture of that. I'll take a picture. And they look conjunct in the they look conjunct. So I'll post that up on my, so right now, because they are upon the eastern horizon, which is what we look for, you won't be able to see them right now because of the daylight, but they are up there right now. They are conjuncting, right? So you won't, this conjunction probably when we, at night, it's going to be in the wee hours of the morning, 8 hours after the summer solstice, 8 hours after the sun goes into Capricorn. And that is one of the cross quarters, right? It is one of the cross quarters. That's why it's a solstice, right? So this is as above, so below. This is the cross quarters. You know, so we have the summer and we have the winter and we have the spring and we have the fall. Those are the cross quarters, right? So we have this beautiful energy that's coming in and it's in a cardinal sign. All cross quarters are in a cardinal sign. So a cardinal is a hinge, right? It means hinge in Latin. So things swing around. The hinge stays. I'm pointing at my door. The hinge stays where it is. It doesn't move, but the door swings back and forth, can swing back and forth, right? So the cardinal is there. So it comes into a cardinal sign. And 0 degrees, anything's at 0 degrees within a cardinal sign is transition, is something new is happening, something renewal, either in the end or the last decade. So this year, a lot of energies have happened in the last decade of a cardinal sign, which is Capricorn, Pluto, Jupiter, and Saturn, all doing their little funkiness all in the last decade. Brought in change, brought in plague, brought in things to do with money. Cryptocurrency, as Saturn went in, it's got $5,000 just out of the blue, just went in. That's very Aquarius. So things, you know, this energy of change is like, that's what happens. It happens very quickly when we're in an air energy. Air moves very quickly, as we all know. And they go from one thing to another thing, or, you know, having different ideas about things. So that's all I have to say for you. I'll post that video up for you with Rick Levine. Hopefully you take time to watch it. He explains it beautifully, and he has a beautiful poem at the end, which is absolutely, it's tear jerking. And and I'll post that picture of the Jupiter on from my star planet, and so that you can have a look at where the Jupiter Pluto is. So, you know, this is actually, if you have kids, get the star planet, because it's awesome with kids, because it gets them to really want to see the constellations and see things. The other night, Matthias and I were playing. He goes, "Oh my God," because it's in the room, right? He doesn't have a concept of the sky or the universe, but we got it. And he goes, "Oh my God, there's a bear on my mom," because we held the phone up, because it moves as you move your phone. It shows you where all the constellations and the stars are. And he's just like, "Oh my God, what's on me? I'm a snake." He goes, "Mama, there's a snake on you," from where I was standing, because it's one of the constellations. So doing things like that, and there's even a constellation of a unicorn up there too, just by the way. So there's lots, you know, when we go into and we start looking at it, and it's fun for kids. It's fun because it's a learning tool. I love it. And it gets him, and he likes to track the moon. So my grandson loves to track the moon. He wants to know where the moon is. You know, last night we had to stand in line to go into Winners, and we're standing there. I'm like, "Oh, Matthias, where is that?" And he goes, "Oh, the moon is a sliver. The moon's a sliver," because the moon is just starting to, you know, that crescent of the moon is just starting to come out to become full. So he was like quite excited. And then when we came out later on, it was brighter in the sky because the sun was setting. So doing things like that with kids, it gives them an idea that look at how vastness there is around us. Look at how expansive things are. And learning, you know, teaching kids astrology at a young age really gets them to understand how the planets move, the rotation, how things, you know, 360 degrees, it's a circle. We cut it out into quarters, and then we have cross quarters. So it just brings in a whole little element for them. And this is like, I know for Matthias, he's only 5. So, you know, a lot of things are very advanced for him as yet. But as he gets older, you know, even teaching him the days of the week, you know, like today's Friday, it's Freya, right? Teaching them Sunday or Saturday, Saturn's day. So that's, you do things on Saturday. Freya's like, free, let's go out, let's party, you know, very Freya. And Sunday is sun day. Sunday, Monday, moon day, you know, Mars day, Jupiter day, all of that. I mean, when you start adding those elements of understanding that astrology is around us in everything that you do, from the months to the days of the week, all of it has the basis of the stars. So it's pretty cool when you get into it. And some of us didn't even know it, or the mythology around the different months. You know, June is Juno, right? August is Augustine, right? So, you know, this is, you know, when we get into and we start learning more, it expands us that, hey, you know what? There's a whole history here. Just like this Jupiter, Saturn, like, oh, wow, you mean this happens every 20 years? Yeah, it happens every 20 years, right? But it's going to be more prevalent because it's going to be happening in air signs this time around. So bringing that energy in. So pretty cool. Pretty cool. If you need to get a reading or book in a reading, I am booking into January now. So if you are wanting to book a reading with me, you can do it. DM me and get a hold of me, and we can book you in. It's for January. Or if you want to book in, I am through Blessed Circle, yyc.ca. You can go on Blessed Circle and book in with me for a Tuesday or a Saturday, because I am on Tuesday and Saturday, I am at Blessed Circle. But those ones will be on Zoom right now. So all readings have to be on Zoom, because I don't want to fine. Not that I'm afraid of the virus, and not that I'm afraid of anything, you know, of getting anything, but I just don't feel like paying anybody $1,000 because I'm doing a reading for somebody. So I'm not going to take the chances, and I'm not going to take the chance at the store and getting her into trouble either, because that's not worth it. So all readings would be through Zoom, and you can You can book a reading through Blessed Circle YYC.ca for Tuesday and Tuesday or Saturday if you want. Except for Boxing Day. I'm not doing readings on Boxing Day. Sorry. But if you are wanting different times, get a hold of me because I am booking into the new year. All readings, all classes, everything is on Zoom at this time and probably will be for the rest of the year. So there probably won't be any live groups or anything like that. Maybe we'll see after, I don't know. Uranus is coming in and he'll create some crazy changes, right? 7,500 here. Oh, yeah. I mean, there's, let me just see if I can pull it up since you guys are all, I didn't know who's here. So thanks for letting me know that you're here. Say hi if you're, so, where are you? Okay. No, I want to go backwards. I'm going to see if I can go back on his. There's a nurse that came out about it, and then there was a there's a doctor or a biologist that came out about it, and I'm going to see if I can post this. Oh, hang on. Nope. Cancel. Well, break it. There's one scientist, one doctor out there. And I just posted it on my Instagram, and it's making mainstream news, and it's from Highwire Talk. Newsline. Tens of thousands, but one that's been on the news. He breaks the vaccine down. He breaks the vaccine down and what the vaccine is. And the vaccine isn't what you think it is. He's a biologist. There's a few biologists that are starting to come out and saying, no, this is an experiment. And he calls it an experiment. And I've told you that this is an experiment with the vaccine. So this is the greatest experiment ever. Same with the pandemic. It's the greatest experiment ever. It was the biggest thing that could get people to do things and to comply. It also came out that in Calgary that they want to expand and wear the masks till the end of 2021. So that's interesting. Plus the vaccine, they say won't do anything for you for 10 days. That doesn't make any sense either. So this is, I mean, with Uranus, more information is going to come out. And with Pluto going forward, he is the truth maker. And so much information coming in. And with Mercury, where Mercury is at the galactic point, this is the galactic point where the sun is today, coming in, giving us very cosmic energy, new information coming in. And when I see people dancing in lines to get a vaccination, it's such a setup. It's such a setup. Honestly, I'll probably get kicked off of Facebook. I haven't yet, but it's a big setup. It is the biggest, like anything that comes out in the first, anything that, with vaccines or anything they tried the first time, it doesn't work. There's such fallout from it, right? So this is an experiment to see who's going to comply. And the media is reading such a script from so that they keep their job. Like even the late night guys, I've noticed that, and when I was listening to them for a while, and I'm like, man, you guys are so scripted and so fearful to lose your jobs, to stand up, and this is like, I'm going to go back to that conjunction, and I am going to relate it to the Star of Bethlehem because he was controversial. He had to stand up in adversity. He stood up in the temples and said, no, this is wrong. He stood up and said things that, you know, we got to love one another. You know, very controversial. And this is where you're going to have to look at, is that you're going to have to stand up and say, hey, this isn't right. This isn't what I want. And they'll try and sneak it into the schools and make the kids get vaccinated. I don't want my grandson vaccinated. You know, and I know that sometimes they send them forms, but maybe there's, you know, the way things are going, they could easily send something or not send anything. And you don't know about it till after the child comes home. So it's being aware of a lot that is happening around us is so important. You know, I mean, I'm just like, here comes Herod. Herod decided to go and kill all the firstborn because he thought he didn't want anybody to take away his power. I mean, yeah, maybe that was over 2,000 years ago, but hasn't it happened before in just recent years? I don't like that. So just to be aware, and that's why you come into your light. That's why you come into this energy of looking at your you know, of your peace and of your love. Because when you stand in that light, it is amazing. It's very powerful. And the thing is that we've been conditioned to be polite and kind. So when we stand in our power, sometimes it's like, but I don't want to be mean to them. I don't want to hurt their feelings, but it's okay for them to hurt us. Really? There's a lot of, you know, with information that comes out with people, there's things that saying, you know what, you got to change. Got to change your way of thinking. And this is a conditioning that we have, that we know something is true, but inside of us it's like, oh no, it can't be true. No, I was told. The news told me. My mother told me. The church told me. Society told me. Somebody told me that that's, that's too loopy to believe. Even though you're looking around, you're just like, oh no, this is the truth. So it takes us a while, but you got to, that's why it's like, you got to go with that instinct, and you got to go with that. No, but it feels right. This is the right thing. This is the right thing to say. I need to use my voice. I need to stand up. And that's why, here I am. I may get one person on. Sometimes I've done my broadcast and nobody shows up, but that's fine. But showing up and using your voice on a day-to-day basis is important in spreading the light that needs to be spread. Because as we're going into 2021, it is just going to get crazier. Things are going to change in a blink of the eye. And stand in that power, right? Stand in that power. Thanks, Whitney. So, stand in your light. That's what I always say, stand in your light. And be that beautiful, energetic being that you came down here to be. So I'll post the video up with Rick and that picture I just took of where Saturn and Jupiter are right now. And have a blessed day, right? So may the Lord and the Lady watch over and bless each and every one of you in all that you say, in all that you be, in all that you do. Blessed be everybody. Shine the light, sending you such light. We'll talk to you soon. Blessed be everybody. Bye-bye.